About to jump right into it. Let's get this thing going. About to cut on ChatGPT and let's start brainstorming. All right, can you hear me? All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Let me know what you need.
All right, so today we're going to talk about tokenization of viral posts. So, we're going to put this on YouTube, obviously, and let's just get right into it. What's the first thing that comes to mind when, when I say tokenization of viral posts on the blockchain?
Absolutely, let's dive into that. When I hear tokenization of a viral post on the blockchain, the first thing that comes to mind is essentially transforming a piece of viral content into a unique ownable digital asset, like an NFT. So in a formal sense, you're essentially giving that post a kind of digital certificate of authenticity and ownership on the blockchain. We can definitely unpack the details as we go along.
All right, so if we were to tokenize a viral post, and granted the right person has to tokenize it. You can't just anybody can't just tokenize a post and say, all right, this is blah blah blah. Like if it's a viral post, like the owner of the post tokenize it or go through a platform to tokenize it and actually make it valuable. And before I go too far down the rabbit hole, like what do you think of that so far?
Absolutely, you're spot on with that line of thought. In a formal sense, the rightful owner or creator of the viral content should indeed be the one to initiate the tokenization process. That ensures authenticity and gives the resulting token its actual value and legitimacy. So we're absolutely on the right track there. Let's keep going from that foundation.
So it's kind of similar to Pokemon. I really don't want to use this, but I will. So it's just like if I had a Charizard card and I tokenized it and put it on the blockchain versus if Pokemon tokenized a Charizard card and put it on the blockchain. See, there'd be a big difference. So just going back to the initial statement, like the right person has to tokenize it. So just imagine from like a community member standpoint, like if someone that you admire or you really like their content and they made 1,000 of these posts and you can buy one of these posts that is known by everyone around the world, this is a valuable tokenized asset. So now let's say we got this post that we made. Let's say Dwayne Wade fucking replied to the post, LeBron James replied to the post, and Satoshi replied to the post. So now this post is gaining all this traction. So now let's tokenize it. So before I go any further, what do you think about that?
Sure, I completely follow your analogy, and in a formal sense, it's a very apt comparison. If the official brand, in your example, let's say the Pokemon Company, is the one tokenizing that Charizard card, that carries official weight and authority. In contrast, if a random individual did it without that official backing, it wouldn't hold the same value. So what you're describing makes perfect sense. Having that kind of high-profile engagement and then officially tokenizing the post definitely adds a layer of credibility and value. So I think you're illustrating the point really well here.
All right, so let's say that, because I'm going to create the floor is lava. So when I got the game created, let's say that somebody, hit the high score of like 1 million and nobody's been able to beat this high score. Say that this person recorded the high score. Maybe they made like a 5-minute video of them beating the high score. Maybe it's like a screenshot. And now I tokenize that. And so this is like a content funnel. So now I'm tokenizing the content funnel because people will keep trying to hit the high score. I can tokenize it. Now this is me tokenizing your high score. And so now we're creating value out of, I wouldn't say it's value out of thin air, but you see where I'm going with this? We could tokenize high scores. We can tokenize replies on posts. We turn these into NFTs. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I see exactly where you're going with this. Formally speaking, what you're describing is creating a kind of digital provenance for specific moments of achievement or engagement. whether that's a high score in your game or a notable interaction on a viral post. And by tokenizing that, you're essentially capturing a digital collectible or a piece of digital memorabilia that has value to a community. So yes, you're definitely onto something. It's about turning those unique digital moments into assets that people can own and trade. And of course, doing that thoughtfully and with the right participants involved just adds to the legitimacy of the whole process.
Tokenizing viral posts is gonna onboard normal people that don't understand the blockchain into the blockchain. How do you feel about that statement?
In a formal sense, I think that's a reasonable and quite insightful statement. Essentially, by tokenizing something as relatable as a viral post or a high score, you're creating a bridge for people who might not otherwise engage with the blockchain. It gives them a tangible, familiar reason to interact with this technology. So yes, it's a pretty solid way to onboard people who may not yet understand the blockchain world into that ecosystem.
So let's just say that Elon Musk, he had like a post that went viral, and Elon Musk, he tokenized one of his posts on the blockchain. Like, just give me a scenario. Like, what do you think would happen?
Certainly. In a formal sense, if someone like Elon Musk tokenized one of his own viral posts on the blockchain, we could imagine a scenario where that tokenized post becomes an extremely sought-after digital collectible. Given his influence and the attention he garners, that token would likely attract a lot of interest from both collectors and blockchain enthusiasts. In other words, it would probably drive a wave of visibility and might even set a precedent for other public figures to do something similar. It could create a sort of blueprint for how well-known individuals tokenize their own content and how that engages a broader audience with the blockchain space.
Yeah, that would be crazy. So, like, if he tokenized himself, or if he tokenizes at his some post, would that turn him into a security? Like, because if it's just a post, you know. It was just like say, like, I love the moon. Say he wrote that on in a post, and then he took that post and he tokenized it on the blockchain. Is he now a security? It's like, is everybody a walking like financial security because now we can just tokenize anything that we say?
In a formal sense, that's a really interesting and nuanced question. Generally speaking, tokenizing a post or a piece of content doesn't automatically turn it into a security. In the legal and regulatory sense, a security is typically something that represents an investment contract or a financial instrument where people expect profits derived from the efforts of others. Now, simply tokenizing a phrase or a social media post, like saying, I love the moon, and putting it on the blockchain, wouldn't inherently classify that token as a security by itself. Of course, the regulatory landscape can be complex, and if people start selling those tokens with the promise of future profit or as part of some investment scheme, then regulators might look at it differently. But in the straightforward scenario you mentioned, it's more about creating a collectible than about turning individuals into walking securities. So it's a nuanced distinction, but generally, no, tokenizing a simple piece of content like that wouldn't automatically make someone a security.
It wouldn't automatically, but it's funny you say that. It wouldn't automatically make you a security, but it possibly could still make you a security.
Absolutely, and that's a good point to highlight. In a formal sense, it really does come down to the specifics of how it's done. While simply creating a token from a piece of content doesn't inherently make it a security, there are scenarios where it could be viewed that way, especially if there are expectations of profit or if it's marketed as an environment. So you're absolutely right, it's not an automatic classification, but it's something that could potentially be interpreted that way, depending on how it's approached.
Because tokenizing a post, all right, so let's say that there's a video game everybody's been trying to beat, but let's say that I beat it and I got the highest score. So like if we're having a contest, you can beat the game first or the fastest. I beat the game the fastest. Now I tokenize a screenshot of me beating the game the fastest. Now say I got 1 million viewers, but there's only 1,000 tokens of me setting this high score. And now this is a game that everybody plays and everybody knows me. And so everybody wants to be a part of my journey in beating the high score. Can you just like emphasize like the magnitude, like how that can really change the dynamics of gaming and just like creating a simple post like that we've referred to earlier. I love the moon. Like these kind of tools that they're giving content creators really going to change the landscape. Just like dive down that rabbit hole for me.
Certainly, let's explore that in a formal sense. Essentially, what you're describing is the transformative impact that tokenization can have on the gaming and content creation landscape. When you take a significant achievement, like beating a popular game the fastest, and tokenize that moment, we're effectively creating a limited edition digital collectible that fans and the community can own a piece of. The magnitude of this shift is pretty significant. It means that achievements in the digital world are no longer just fleeting moments. They can be solidified into assets that carry ongoing value and allow fans to feel like they're part of that journey. It changes the dynamic from just passively watching or following a creator to actually owning a piece of that creator's milestone. In a formal sense, this kind of tool empowers content creators and gamers to monetize their success in new ways, and it also allows the audience to be more deeply engaged. It really does have the potential to reshape how we think about digital achievements and digital ownership overall.
So let's say that there's a MMO RPG game that everybody plays. We've been playing this game for 15, 20 years, and then the servers finally shut down. But before the server shut down, you take screenshots of your inventory and your player stats, and you tokenize them, put them on the blockchain, and now you have memories forever. And then people that follow your journey, they can still witness and be a part of like the game, even though the servers are shut down. So similar to how people could go on YouTube and watch your content and see videos of you playing the game, even though the game is discontinued, they could still go on the blockchain and see your tokenized content, like as far as like your stats and stuff like that. What do you think of that?
In a formal sense, I think that's a really powerful and meaningful use case. Essentially, by tokenizing those final snapshots of your MMORPG journey, your inventory, your player stats, you're effectively preserving a piece of gaming history on the blockchain. This means that even after the servers are gone and the game is no longer playable, those tokenized memories remain as a kind of digital archive that fans and followers can revisit. So in a way, you're right. It's like having a permanent blockchain-based museum of your gaming legacy. It allows the community to still engage with those moments and ensures that those digital memories are preserved beyond the lifespan of the game itself.
It's
crazy.
That's crazy technology right there. That's really just building on the technology. I think we've been going for about 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes. I don't know. I lost track of time. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Condense everything we talked about since I started this to the talking point right now. Just condense everything in maybe like a 1-minute recap, and then I'm gonna let you continue your day.
Absolutely. Let me wrap it up for you. So in a nutshell, we talked about the idea of tokenizing viral posts or digital achievements on the blockchain and how that can bring everyday people into the blockchain space. We used examples like if a well-known figure tokenizes a viral post, or if a gamer tokenizes their high score or final stats from a long-running game. In a formal sense, we explored how these tokens can serve as digital collectibles that preserve memories and engage communities even after the original moment is past. Ultimately, it's about using this technology to transform digital moments into lasting, ownable pieces of history. And that's really the heart of it. So thanks for the chat, and have a great rest of your day.
Man, she just went crazy with the information. All right, you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you later. Yeah, bro, tokenization of viral posts. So, I mean, I'd like to talk some more about it, but you know, there's the starter right there, tokenization of viral posts. So if you on platforms like Zora or Pump.fun, and you know, where people really be cooking content and you know, start clipping or screenshotting, or you know what I'm saying, whatever you got to do to tokenize, man, it's really going to be it's going to be a play here in the coming years. Tokenization of viral posts is going to onboard Web 2 to Web 3 and normal people. Like, so if you didn't know, now you know, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.